All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're unpacking a really bold idea from our source material. What if, when it comes to really common pelvic health problems like incontinence, the entire medical system has been looking at the wrong thing?
And yeah, the source does not pull any punches. It kicks things off with this incredibly strong statement, basically saying that telling millions of people they just have to live with a lower quality of life is nonsense. This really sets the stage for a completely different way of looking at the problem. So first things first, let's talk about just how big of a deal this is. We're talking about a huge number of people, men and women, who are dealing with pelvic health issues and are basically told, hey, that's just part of getting older, or that's what happens after you have kids.
So here's the absolute core of the argument from our source. These conditions are not normal. The idea is that unless there's a major underlying issue, like a spinal cord injury, nobody should have to put up with these problems. It's a message that's really meant to say, hey, you're not crazy for being frustrated.
Okay, so if these problems are totally treatable, why are so many people still suffering? Well, the source argues it's because the usual treatments are just fundamentally flawed.
And this is the standard playbook, right? Pills, diapers, exercises. But the critique here is pretty scathing. The argument is that these are just band-aids. They manage symptoms, they don't fix the root cause, and in some cases, they can actually make things worse. And this analogy just perfectly explains the problem with exercise-based therapy like Kegels. The source material says that for many people, the pelvic floor muscles aren't actually weak. They're super tense and basically stuck in a contracted state. So when you ask them to exercise, it's like flooring the gas in your car while the emergency brake is pulled. You're just creating more tension. And get this, the source also brings up a really interesting point about muscle building. To truly mechanically strengthen a muscle, you need about 8 weeks of pretty tough exercise. That's way more than what most physical therapy plans include. So any quick improvements people feel, that's likely coming from the nervous system, which, it turns out, is the real star of this show.
Okay, and this is the huge turning point in the argument. The source says we've all been looking in the wrong place. The problem isn't the muscle, it's the body's master controller, the nervous system.
So what exactly is this master controller? It's your autonomic nervous system, or ANS. Just think of it like your body's automatic control panel. It runs all the stuff in the background you don't have to think about, like your heart rate, digestion, and yep, bladder control.
Now, the ANS has two main modes, and this is a really simple way to think about it. You've got the sympathetic system. That's your gas pedal. It's your fight or flight mode that gets fired up by stress and pain. And then you have the parasympathetic system. That's your brake pedal. It's what lets your body rest, digest, and heal. For you to be healthy, those two need to be in balance.
So here's the big takeaway from all this. Most of these pelvic floor issues are happening because the gas pedal is stuck down. The body's stress response is just stuck in the on position, which keeps those pelvic muscles all tensed up and out of whack. It's a system-wide problem, not just a muscle problem.
So, if the problem is a stuck gas pedal, how in the world do you tap the brakes? Well, the source offers a pretty surprising solution, using dry needling on a specific group of muscles it calls the Forgotten Nine.
These are just a few of the key players, and they're called the Forgotten Nine for a reason. They're buried so deep inside the pelvis you basically can't treat them with normal hands-on therapy. But here's the crucial part. The nerves that talk to these muscles are part of the parasympathetic system. That's the brake pedal. The whole theory is, by stimulating these specific muscles, you can send a direct message to your entire nervous system to just calm down.
And to show you just how powerful this can be, the source shares this incredible story. Picture this. A physical therapist, she's been dealing with urinary incontinence for 11 years. She's tried everything, seen all the specialists, nothing works. Then she gets 2 dry needling treatments as part of a class she was taking. The result? Total 100% resolution of her symptoms. A decade of suffering? Just gone.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Needles there? It's a totally logical reaction. But the source tackles this head-on, offering this reassurance. It says that because of the specific nerves involved and how tiny the needles are, the treatment is actually, and I'm quoting here, bafflingly pleasant. And this idea, it goes way beyond just the pelvis. The argument is that by treating these specific muscles, you can actually set off a chain reaction of healing all through your body. Just think back to that analogy.
These muscles, they're like a direct hotline to the brake pedal of your nervous system. So by stimulating them, you're not just fixing a little local problem, you're sending this massive signal to your entire body to chill out and get out of that chronic stress mode. And when you do that, when you bring that system back into balance, what they call homeostasis, you unlock a ton of other potential benefits. We're talking reduced back pain, less stress and anxiety, even better immune and gut health. It's really all about letting the body get back to its amazing natural state of self-healing.
And that leaves us with this really powerful final thought from the source material. What else could we heal if we stopped just chasing symptoms and started treating the nervous system first? It's a huge question that really challenges us to rethink the root cause of so many chronic health problems.